not already aware, WebYoda has been around for over 20 years, providing training, certification, and assessment for aspiring webmasters, both locally in the United States and around the world. Now, when you research hosting, one of the things you find out quickly is there's a lot of options out there, and it's very difficult to determine who actually is the best choice out there. All of them claim they're the best. They claim to have the best prices. They claim to have the best solutions. But you really have no way of grading it on your own if you don't have any experience in the field. What WebYoda did is they relied on PC Magazine to do this research. And PC Magazine has been around for over 20 years. They're peer-reviewed, they're well-respected, and they do research in different topics, computer-wise, regularly. And when they looked into hosting, what they ended up doing is, researching, 50 or more hosting companies, and then they assigned Editor's Choice Awards to those that they felt were the best choices out there. Now, within the PC Magazine's Editor's Choice Awards, there were 6 of them that stood out the most. The 2 at the top, HostGator and DreamHost, were 4.5 out of 5 stars, and the other ones are 4 out of 5 stars. So WebYoda was basically going to look at these 2 because they were rated the highest. The next thing you have to look into is, what is the hosting solutions? What are they good for specifically? Well, if you just went on this category, it would look like, well, this is one that you want to go with because it's WordPress friendly. But if you dig into a little deeper, you'll see that there are plenty of them that are WordPress friendly, except for possibly this one. So that's not going to be a problem for us. Next, of the top 2, HostGator specifically had all of the features available, and day in and day out had better price breaks than DreamHost did. And so what WebYoda ended up doing is choosing HostGator as their choice for their students. Now we want to head over to HostGator and look at what their hosting options are, what their pricing is, and what the process is for purchasing hosting. We'll open a new tab. Let's go to HostGator. So at this point we need to choose the type of web hosting that's going to meet our needs. They have standard web hosting, cloud hosting, WordPress hosting, and other options. Now, WordPress hosting sounds like what we want to use, so we inherently will click into here, and we immediately see some pretty friendly prices. Our starter plan at $5.95, step up from that also $7.95, and then their business plan $9.95. Now what I find interesting is that if you go into their standard web hosting as opposed to their WordPress hosting, the prices are almost half that. For their Hatchling plan it's $3.95, baby plan it's $5.95, business plan it's $5.95. However, if you scroll down, you'll notice that one of the things that the standard can do is WordPress hosting, and it's no additional cost for you to install WordPress. So why would anybody choose to pay more? Well, you wouldn't unless you didn't know any better. So we're going to be picking between these 3 plans. Now we need to decide which of these 3 plans best meets our needs. If you're a WebYoda student, for example, you probably only need a single domain right now. If you're a company and you only have one website, one company, single domain would work for you as well. The domain is basically the name of your website. So if you have multiple companies, you're going to need multiple websites. You're going to need multiple domain names. So for a company, for example, like Sears, they might need 2 domains, one for Sears.com and one for Craftsman.com, which are both going to the same place, but they would still be different domains. Secondly, if you're a company but you actually own multiple companies, need multiple websites, then you want to look at the baby plan. Now, the business plan is for people who are running anything where you're doing online sales, or you're going to have any kind of login thing where you have to have private information. And to do private information, it's a requirement that you have a private SSL, so you're going to have to step up to this model. Now, in our case, for what we're going to do, and most people, the single domain is going to be just fine. But the nice thing is that anything you buy into, you can always upgrade just for the difference at no other penalty. So we can start here and then later decide, hey, we want to do something different than that. We can go ahead through their system and give them a call, and they can upgrade it at no problem at all. Also, these prices are assuming you're doing 36 months, 3 years. Well, that's why they can offer you such a great price. But a lot of people don't want to make a 3-year commitment. So what we're going to have to do is decide what's going to be in our best interest. In this case, we're going to use the Hatchling plan. We'll click on Sign Up Now. Now we're ready to start the purchase web hosting process. The first section in this is choosing a domain. Again, the domain is the access that you use to get to a website. For example, HostGator.com, WebYoda.com, eBay.com, Sears.com. Those are the names that allow you to access the hosted area, and you're going to be required to have a name, so we either had to have already purchased one and we could link it to our account, or we're going to purchase a new one. If you're a WebYoda student, you might just pick something that's your name, or if you have a website in mind that you're going to build for a friend or a nonprofit organization, you could pick something for them. If you're a company, you're going to want to pick a web name that's relative to what your company is. In this case, we're just going to pick a generic name, choose-your-domain.com, and if you click to the right of the domain, it will tell you if it's available or not. In our case, chooseyourdomain.com is available, and it's $15 a year. Turns out we're going to be able to save you a little bit extra on that $15, bring it down to around $12.95 with a coupon code we can apply later. Let's scroll to the bottom, and as of right now, it looks like they want to charge us $216.08, and really thinking that's a little more than we're looking to spend today. So let's look up and see what's going on here. 36 months. That's probably longer than we're going to want to commit to right now. Also, there's a bunch of add-ons. Between those two, it's the bulk of the extra money that's being added here. I think we can avoid some or all of that with some reductions above. So let's go see what we can do to bring that down. If you scroll up to the top, just below the domain areas, is this thing called Domain Privacy Protection. Now we're going to uncheck that. Now when you originally see this, you're like, Domain Privacy Protection. It sounds like something I need. I don't know any better. I'll just pay it. It's only roughly $15 a year, no big deal. But it turns out that when you pay for that, if somebody does a search for the domain to see who owns it, whoever protected it for you, their name shows up. If you choose not to pay this fee, then it'll show up as you're the owner. I'm not too concerned that somebody knows I'm the owner of a domain name, so I'm going to save myself the $15, but it's up to you whether or not you want to save that fee. Let's scroll down now into the hosting area. We're on the hatching plan, which we wanted, but they've got us down for 36 months. Now, 36 months may be more than you're looking to commit to, and it turns out that anything above a year, and they're going to give you a really good break on it. Anything below a year, and it's going to be the same amount per month. You have to just decide how long you're really looking to commit to this. Now, in our situation, if you're a student, then you probably want to go month to month, and at any time you can move this up the scale. So for now, we're just going to pick 1 month. Now if we scroll to the bottom, now we're down to $52.89, so we're definitely making some progress. Now let's scroll back up to the additional services area and see if we can make some progress here as well. The first item is protect your site from hackers, and it's highly recommended. Of course, they want to make some extra money off of you. Basically, we can turn this off. You got to remember, they're in the hosting business. They're in the business of protecting themselves from you from yourself, and you from hackers. So whether or not you're paying them a fee, they're going to make sure that things stay protected no matter what. This is basically a highlighted system that gives you a little quicker information, be more informative if something goes wrong, but they're going to bring it to your attention and they're going to resolve the problem either way. Next, there's the choice of getting an email where you pay $5 a month to have your own professional email account. Turns out once you have a hosting account, you can set up as many emails as you want for free, so it really doesn't make any sense to pay a fee to have one. And the last one is this item where you can go ahead and for $2 a month, basically almost $25 a year, they'll back up your website on a daily basis for you automatically. Well, if we turn this off, two things happen. First thing is they're going to back it up for you weekly, whether you ask them to or not, automated, no problem. And from within your system, you'll be able to do manual backups yourself. So I think this is a luxury that we can avoid. So now we scroll to the bottom, and we're at $25.95, so we've definitely made some progress now. Turns out we can just do a little bit better than the $25.95. If we scroll back up, we'll notice there's a coupon code field. Now, WebYoda partnered with HostGator.com, and as part of that partnership, we're assigned 2 promotional codes. Those 2 promotional codes will do 2 things for us. One, it gives us a really great discount on everything else that we've already saved on. And then those coupon codes also generate funds, and those funds are donated to the WebYoda Foundation. Now, in turn, the WebYoda Foundation takes 100% of those proceeds and provides discount and free training for students all over the United States and all over the world. So it's a 2-part win. We get a discount as a win, and then students all over the world benefit from the proceeds from those through the Web Yoda Foundation. So if you think you're one of those students who could use some discount or free training, give Web Yoda a call, contact them, and plead your case and get yourself some discount or free training. Now the first code that we can use from Web Yoda is Save 25% 2018. If we click on this, we'll notice that our price goes down just a small amount, and part of that is because it's only 25% on the hosting amount. It's not on the domain name, because they have a fixed price on domain name because they're actually getting that from somebody else. But if you decided to do the 1-year plan or the 2-year plan or the 6-month plan, you'd get an additional 25% off of what the discount prices you saw above were. The second code is Host 1 cent 2018. We validate this one, you'll notice our price drops dramatically. So basically it's half what their promotional code was going to give for this same thing. So it's a really good promotional code. In this case, basically we're getting our first month for 1 cent, and then we'll pay month to month after that. So again, our choices are Save 25% 2018 if you want to save 25% on your whole order, and that would be for longer deals. And then for our purposes, Host 1 cent 2018. We validate, and it gives us $12.96, which is almost half of what we were going to pay before. So it's really exciting and going to be the best price we can get at this point. As it turns out, I'm going to be able to save a little bit more on the $12.96, and that's only because I happen to own the domain that we're going to use for this project. So in my case, the option I need is I already own this domain. So if you already own a domain, you would click here, type in your domain, and then click to the right. Now what's neat is that the webdesigntrainingschool.com is the website that's going to house all the training that we give away for free. And what's interesting is that we're going to learn how to build the site that's going to house the courses that we're going to be giving away for free. So how that plays out should be quite interesting. So now we're ready for the final step, and that is to pick a username, give a PIN, put in our credit card information. So first, inside of the Choose Hosting plan, I'm going to pick a username and pick a PIN. And then I'm going to enter this off the record, obviously. You'll want to enter your own information. You can choose credit card or PayPal. And then when you get down to the bottom, you're going to need to click I have read and agree to these terms. They won't say anything until you agree to them. And then we're ready to hit checkout now. Okay, our payment is complete, and now we're just waiting for the site to set itself up. It just has this little section right here that's telling us, hey, I'm in the process, I'll be done soon. And there it is. Our hosting purchase is complete, our setup is complete. Welcome to the HostGator family. Alright, so now we need to gain access to our hosting account, and to do that, the first step is to go to your email account. And what you're looking for is an email from HostGator. Oh, and there mine is, conveniently. And inside that email, the things of importance to us are the control panel, which this is how you actually get to your hosting area, your username, and your password. So we're going to copy this password to the clipboard because it'd be really hard to remember. Click on our control panel link, and then you're going to put your username here, and then paste your password in, and then click Login. Now at this point you're into your hosting account and you have access to all the goodies they have to offer you. The first thing we want to do, though, I recommend coming up here and choose Password and Security. And I want to give ourselves a new password, one that we can work with, one that's familiar, but one that's still very secure. So the first thing you do is paste in your old password, and then you need to choose a new password. Now this password needs to have a strength of at least 25 of 100, and as you type it in, it's going to tell you how strong it is. So I'm going to pick a new password. Mine is a strength of 78, so that's pretty good. I'm going to confirm my new password, and then I'm going to click Change Your Password Now. At this point, they're going to want you to log in again. Type in your new password. and you're up and rolling, but now you have your own new password. To install WordPress, you first need to visit your HostGator control panel. Once there, look at the very top for popular links, and inside of that is a link to build a new WordPress site. This is the link that will take you to the area where you can install WordPress. First thing you need to tell it is what domain to use, and the pull down will reveal the one that you purchased. No directory is needed, and we can just click Next. Alternatively, we can let the pros do it and spend lots of money. I think we'll just click Next. Now we're going to enter our website title, or in WordPress is also known as your blog title. For us, it's going to be Web Design Training School. Your username can be any username you want to use to log into your HostGator WordPress account. In my case, I'm going to use the same one that I use for my control panel to minimize confusion in my world. And then you're going to enter your first name and your last name. And then the email address you want all the correspondences about your WordPress install to go to, your admin email, in this case me. Automatically create a new database, we want that, so we leave that checked. We need to accept their terms or agreement, so the install button shows up. And now we click on install. The install has started. And the install is complete. Now at this point we're ready to log into our newly installed WordPress. Our username is the one we gave it, and our password is this complicated stuff that we're going to copy to our clipboard. And now we just click on Login, and it'll come to a WordPress login screen. You're going to put in your username and the password you pasted. Click Login. Now from here, the first thing we're going to want to do is change our password to something that's more reasonable. So we're going to click on Users, and we can click on our account or edit it, and then scroll down, and there is a place to generate a password. We click on Generate. It's going to give us a fancy complicated one again, and what we want to do is put one that's easier for us to remember. And then we click on Update Profile. And now our WordPress is fully installed. With our WordPress freshly installed, there's still a couple of things we need to install before we can actually start working on our website itself. The first of those is the WordPress theme. The theme is the overall look and feel of your website. Now there's plenty of themes out there for sale and plenty of them for free. And without any WordPress experience, it can be a pretty daunting task to determine which one is best for you. To help us with our cause, we're going to go to WebYoda and see what they recommend. So let's go to the WebYoda website, go to Courses, Free WordPress Courses, WordPress Hosting and Install, Install WordPress Theme. And if we scroll down, we'll see there's a section about the Vantage theme offered by SiteOrigin. Now the Vantage theme is a really good theme if you're looking to build responsive websites. A responsive website is a website that changes depending on the device it's displayed on. So for example, if you look at a website on a computer, it'll look different on a laptop, it'll look different on a small screen, a large screen, it'll look different on a tablet, it'll look different on a phone. So basically a responsive website changes to meet the needs of whatever the screen device you're looking at. The Vantage theme is also one of the more flexible WordPress themes available on the market, particularly in a free version. And by flexible, this means that lots of plugins will work with it without conflicting with each other. Many times you can get a plugin that'll work with some and not others. Well, Vantage stays very proactive. If a new plugin comes out that's very popular, they'll make sure that their theme is updated to work with those different plugins. Furthermore, the Vantage theme has a lot of extra bells and whistles built into it. That means that you won't have to install as many plugins because it does a lot of things on its own. At this point, we're ready to download the Vantage plugin. To download it, we're simply going to click on this link. It'll download a copy to our computer, and in most cases it'll be in a folder called your download folder. With our Vantage theme downloaded, now we can go back to WordPress and install it. So go back to our WordPress, look down for Appearance, click on Themes, click on Upload, Upload Theme. Now we're going to choose a file from our computer, and notice it's in the Downloads folder. We'll choose the file, click Open, and now we're ready to install. And this little spinny thing is telling us it's installing. We'll wait for the install to complete, and now it says theme installed successfully. Now we activate that theme. Now once it's activated, if we scroll down, a lot of times you'll notice right at the top it'll say there's a new one available. We go ahead and click on Update Now, and basically SiteOrigin is making updates on a regular basis, so even though the one that we downloaded was pretty fresh, they had a newer one out, and there's always going to be available link for us to check and make that update on our own. Now with our theme in place, now we need to look at installing our plugins. Now the first step in installing plugins is to go to the plugins area, and for us, we're going to delete all the plugins that were already put there. These could be good, some of we may use, some of we may not, but we want to start with a fresh start and using just the plugins we need and not have any extra stuff. So the first thing we're going to do, if we click this box here, it checks all of them all the way down. Now in the bulk actions box we can choose deactivate, which basically turns them off, and we apply. So now they're all deactivated. It's not possible to delete them until they've been deactivated. Now we can click this checkbox again, which selects them all again, and in the bulk actions box choose delete, click apply. Okay, yes, please delete these for us. And now we have successfully deleted all the plugins that were originally installed. At this point we're ready to install the plugins we are going to use. So let's go back to WebYoda, go back to their courses, free WordPress courses, WordPress hosting and install WordPress plugins. Now when it comes to plugins, there's literally thousands of plugins to choose from out there. And for our sample site, we're only going to end up using 7 of them. And there'll be a lot of other things you may want to add to yours as well, but these are a really good starter kit. The first one of these, the Black Studio, is basically a visual editor. It allows you to do a lot of stuff without a lot of experience in HTML and stuff like that. The next one is for building contact forms. This one's a really good one for duplicating pages so that you can have additional pages without having to recreate everything. You just make a copy of the most recent one. This allows you to do a really fancy slider. And these two are ones that are accessories for the SiteOrigin Vantage theme that we're using. And then our social media one is going to allow us to put social media buttons on our website without having to work real hard at it. Now in the same way we downloaded our theme, we're going to download each of these plugins so that we can later go back and install them into our WordPress. So one by one we're going to click on each one of these, and you'll watch it will download down over here, and download. Just do each one of these until you have all of them. And it's showing they're a little bit behind, they're waiting to get done, and so you want to make sure that they've completed their complete download before we go to the next step. Now we've downloaded all of the plugins we're going to use for this project. To install our plugins, we're going to go back to our WordPress, click on Plugins again. At the top is an Add New button, and we're one by one going to add each one of these plugins. So we'll do Upload Plugin, choose File, and we'll choose the first one at the top, and Open, Install. We have to do this for each one of them. And Activate Plugin. Now we'll add a new one, Upload Plugin, choose File, our second one, and Install. Activate Plugin. Ready for number 3. Add new. Upload plugin. Choose file. Pick our third one. Open. Install now. Activate plugin. Add new. Upload plugin. Choose file. Pick our fourth one. Open. Install. Activate plugin. Add new. Upload plugin. Choose file. Now we've got 3 more. The one at the bottom is our theme that we already did. So we're going to click on the duplicate page. Open. Install now. Activate plugin. We got 2 left. Add new. Upload plugin. Choose file. Contact form. Open. Install now. Activate. Finally, add new. Upload plugin. Choose file, our last one. Open. Install now. Activate plugin. Now we have installed and activated all of our plugins. Now just like we did with the theme, we're going to want to update our plugins. Now notice over here under plugins, anytime you log in, if there's any of them that need to be updated, there'll be a little number here and tell you that it's available. In our case, we can just choose all of them, bulk actions, update, apply, and it'll one by one update them for us. And the last one. Now we have all of our plugins installed, activated, and updated. Now we're getting close to the end of the course. You might want to know, how does it you get back to your WordPress site? Well, the answer to that is you go to your domain, in this case webdesigntrainingschool.com/wp-admin. Now for some reason you forget that. If you go back to your regular control panel, the one that you found through your email, on the left hand side there's a little place called Website Essentials. Inside of that there's a thing called My Installs. If you click on My Installs, it's going to show you all the different WordPress installs you have, and then it'll have a link where you can click on your admin and it'll bring you back into your WordPress. Now since we were logged in, it automatically brought us back into this, but if you weren't logged in, it would ask you to log in. So that's definitely a piece of information you're going to want to have. Now that WordPress is installed, as well as our theme and plugins for WordPress, we've pretty much reached the end of our Web Hosting for Beginners course. One of the last things I'd like to do, though, is to show you what the default website looks like for this, as well as show you what project you could create in about 90 minutes time based on this sample. So let's go up to the top left corner, and in the top left corner is the name of your website, in this case Web Design Training School. If you hold down Control on Windows or the Command key on Mac and then click that link, it'll create a new tab. And that new tab shows the default website. Now the reason why I like to have an extra tab is that I can make updates to my website in this tab, and then I can hit reload and notice the changes in this tab. Now clearly there's not a lot going on in this sample site before anything's actually been added to it. The meta slider that we added is in here, and you can rotate through the pictures here. These can be anything you want them to be. And then there's just a little bit of sample data inside of the main page for the website, as well as a sample page that will allow you to drill down and look at the additional pages within the website. But outside of that, that doesn't really offer very much. Now, if you were interested in taking our WordPress for Beginners course, you'd have the opportunity to take this sample site, in about 90 minutes time, turn it into a site that looks like this one. You'd learn how to build this logo from scratch online. You'd learn how to build this menu. You'd learn how to learn pull downs in a menu. You'd learn how to make this meta slider where the background glows in and out. You'd learn how to make these call to action areas. You'd learn how to make a photo album. You'd also learn how to add social media to the bottom of every page. You'd also be able to build all the interior pages. So we'd start with the About page. We'd learn how to add links. We'd learn how to add graphics to a page. On our Courses page, we'd make drill downs to the other courses. Inside of the course pages, you'd learn how to add a YouTube video to the courses. On our Testimonials page, we'll learn how to add these fancy little boxes around text. On our Donations page, we'll learn how to make a Donations button, as well as add more graphics and more links. And then finally, on our Contact Us page, you'll learn how to add all the information needed to make a fully functional Contact Us page, including a contact form that works that can email to you or anybody you desire, as well as a fully functional map that zooms in and moves left and right. If you find this site interesting and would like to be able to build it yourself, we strongly encourage you taking our WordPress for Beginners course. In that course, you'll learn how to make your own WordPress site in about 90 minutes. As with all the courses through Web Design Training School, it's a free course. If you enjoyed this course and found it useful, please go back to YouTube, type in Web Yoda, look for the video, and like the video. Every time you like the video, it lets somebody else know this could be an important tool for them as well. If you find our courses useful, you may also want to check out webmastercertification.com, also known as wowacademy.com. There they have a lot of extra courses to help supplement what you've learned here. My name's Yoda. It's been a pleasure to be your instructor. Have a great day.